We are live. They can hear me. Can they hear you?
I was robbed. I was robbed, ladies and gentlemen. No, not personally. I was robbed at Evo. And why do I say that? Because I was robbed because I did not put in 8 hours of Street Fighter 6 practice on a daily basis because I have a life. Therefore, I was robbed. It should have
Hmm.
been me on this. No, I'm kidding. Welcome, folks, to episode 160 of the Hack Jack Show with with a special episode as Jack and I will be recounting our first experience going to the Evolution Fighting Game Tournament and Convention in the year of our Lord 2023. No, noteworthy of noteworthy this year being the biggest, most attended Evo event in that convention's history. I'm of course your host, a generally beautiful and moronic hack.
And I am your spectator, Jack, because that's all I did in Evo.
Yes, he was a spectator and I was a competitor. Honestly, I honestly wish I was just a spectator because I don't want to be shown how scrub I am. But you know what? I can at least be in the assurance, at least in the assurance that any of those KOF or Goro or Sam Show players will probably beat Johnny, and that makes me happy. Also, hey Johnny, welcome in the chat. Braz- Johnny, aka Brazil's weakest KOF player. Oh man. And also, we want to give a shout out to Ghetto Machine in the chat as well, because as he was with us in our Evo journey, and I got to be with him for majority of the time there, so it was great to see him in the flesh for the first time, and hopefully not for the last time. So a lot of great memories, and Jack and I we learned a lot in our trip over to Las Vegas, and we're gonna recount everything. Well, mostly everything that happened to us while we were at Evo this past weekend. But first, before we get to the good stuff, Jack, you know what You know what I'm doing concurrently right now, out of just for fun.
um, recovering the money you spent on Uber lifts.
No, that's this weekend. That's what I'm gonna be doing that. But no, no. On completely that's not related to Evo. I decided to make a playlist, a Spotify playlist of every single JoJo musical reference. And my God, that did Araki knows his music because now because I am barely in just Phantom Blood, Jack, and already there's like 8 songs I put in the playlist just from Phantom Blood. And it also doesn't help that most of the artists he picked started in the 70s or early 80s, and the JoJo manga didn't start till 1987. So I'm like, a lot of it is okay. Theoretically, what could have Araki listened to from this band, or it would have to be all right. It's just gonna come down to what do I personally like, and should I put it in this playlist? And before you ask, Jack, yes, Roundabout is in the playlist, but not because of what you think.
Not because it's a good song.
I mean, it is a good song, but it's not because it's also is not because the anime used it as an ending theme for this first season.
Oh yeah,
Uh, I've come to learn, Jack,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
that remember Bruford?
Bruford?
Yes, you remember Bruford, don't you? One of the Wind Knights from Part One had the
Barely.
sword, had the sword Luck, had that that he can like also manipulate his hair. Jonathan fought him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's coming back now. Well, it turns out his name is not just a regular name. Turns out it literally turns out Bruford is named after the drummer of Yes.
Oh.
And you remember the other night Tarkus, the big guy who did like the chain thing around the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turns out his name is also a reference to another progressive band from England, and he's named after one of their albums, in which I have to put in like a 20-minute song in the playlist. So already it's a long playlist because you got a bunch of 80s classics. All right, here's some progressive rock. You're gonna be in for a long time.
Hey, at least you got a good playlist for road trips.
Yeah, but that's just part one. I haven't done part two, three, four, five. So it's gonna be a big playlist. But finally, once it's completed, now no JoJo fan who has Spotify has any excuse not to know all the musical references. Because by God, every anime fan will know a Steely Dan song. It's my mission in life. No, it's not. But hey, at least they'll know who Steely Dan is.
Yeah. Barely.
Ah, yeah, same here. So aside from that, let me read some of the comments so quick. First off, Filigrins, no, Ghetto did not took picture of me sleeping. As far as I know.
He
You know
unlocked your
what?
door and went to take a picture.
You know that might explain a few things. But nevertheless, nevertheless, he did take pictures, but definitely not of me sleeping. Let's see. And Ghetto says, Dan, the plays may actually be longer than part one. Yes, maybe. Oh, and Marty says, hack, the people's elbow failed. Oh, it's reference the last episode.
Oh,
When Jack called out the rock. Luckily,
yeah.
Jack survived, so he'll be back for WrestleMania 2024.
Hell yeah.
But with all that stuff out of the way, let's get into the meat of it. And actually, Jack, I'm actually curious to hear your side of the story because unfortunately, despite us being in the same location, we are right at different points, and we didn't really get to actually enjoy the convention together as much as I would like to. Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that would just go. I'll put that on my end, just not clear communicating of when we're arriving and so forth. So let us know that if our first Evo, mistakes are made. Not deadly
Mm-hmm.
mistakes, thank God. Not deadly mistakes, but mistakes were made. How? But go ahead, Jack. Give us your account of. Let's start with the first day coming into Las Vegas.
So, on our first day, well, really, it took us forever to get to Vegas because, well, one, I wasn't there for day one. I wasn't able to get there for day one because I was under the assumption that we were only gonna be there for day two. Like that's when we're gonna start. We had a lot of talks about it through our little group chat, and I just had to keep clarifying day two, right? Day two, right? And it was a lot of yes, yes, yes. And then at that point I also heard I vaguely remember, I don't know if it was correct, that we weren't gonna try to do the tournament. So I was confused whenever I was at work and then I see a message on Discord saying, Jack, where are you? We're good to go. I'm like, well shit.
Like I said, that's on my end. In regards to that, I take the full blame. That being said, Jack. That being said, you didn't miss much. Literally, day one was just come get your shit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so luckily, by the time you did came in, it's not like you missed something important or critical. It really was just get your
I'm
badges,
but
get your merch, and all that.
but I missed the ass beating you got. That's what I
Yes, she's
missed.
well. You get well. Ghetto saw it.
Because I
Hey,
only I only went I only heard what happened. I never saw what happened. So I'm never gonna have the full context of how apparently again, I'm saying apparently because from what you said, it was you were badly beaten. But for me it could have been maybe a different story. Maybe you were putting your all and you were actually doing something like doing well.
well, I can tell you from firsthand account. I didn't even get a round in.
Oh.
No, I did not
Okay.
do well.
Okay. Well then
And and most of it comes down to the fact that I did not put as much time to the game as I probably should have, considering just that it's very hard to get good at a game when other things preoccupy your time. What it's
yeah.
even stuff that is even important. So I still find it amazing how people can just dedicate hours, the entire day to play one game competitively. So, and I knew I wasn't gonna make it there on to the top six. I knew that, but I was hoping to at least get one win under my belt. But unfortunately, I think another that comes that too. Manon. It seems that she is not a bottom tier character, but she ain't a top tier either. She's very much in that middle where, like, if you know what you're doing, you can get pretty far. But she's also very limited. You ain't gonna do some crazy things that we saw with a lot of Ken and especially Blanc with that one blocking player, which we'll talking about soon enough.
So, um, I was kind of not gonna lie, I was kind of peeved. I was kind of peeved, and I was seething in at work because I'm not like I'm missing. I'm pretty much having FOMO. I'm missing out on even if it was just like first day was merchandise. It was just extra time that I could have done something, but then on the day of the airplane, I was supposed to be there by I think I told you 7 p.m., right? Yeah.
Yes, that's what if I remember that's what you said that was when you were expected to arrive at Las Vegas. 7 p.m. Las Vegas time.
Yeah. So I got to my plane. I got to my plane 3 hours early, mostly because we just want to make sure we're there. And then right when we were close to getting onto or like right around the same time we were supposed to be boarding, they're like, "Oh, we have a delay. There's something wrong with the airplane. We gotta check to see if we can do some maintenance right now." So we waited, and the worst thing is we didn't wait an hour, 2 hours in the sense of like, "Oh yeah, this will take 3 hours or this will take 4 hours." No, this was like, "Oh yeah, this will take 30 minutes." 30 minutes pass. Yeah, I'm sorry. Something happened. We're gonna have to take another 30 minutes. Another 30 minutes happened. Yeah, we might have to change planes if this last thing we do doesn't work. So give us an hour. They kept doing that, pushing it little by little, and eventually I finally got on the plane, and I barely made it to my hotel at 11 p.m. Yeah, 11ish p.m. Vegas time, which when I was asking the Luxor days ahead or days before, I asked them like how long will the reservation stay? They're like till midnight. So I was praying to God that I would still have a room. But eventually I did get to my hotel and we literally that whole time I was just way too tired to do anything. Got into my hotel and slept. That was my day one of being in Vegas. Barely literally like half the time not in Vegas, the other time sleeping.
So I'm gonna go ahead now. Time for my account of my first day, and I now kind of feel bad, not Jack situation because my first day actually actually went very swimmingly.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing happened in the airport. I was able to get there just fine. I arrived in Vegas fine. Uh, and on the actual day when I was there, you know, uh, I make that's I was with Ghetto, and we pretty much just hung out the entire day. We got our, you know, our Evo badges with our essentially our gamer tags on them, so that's neat. And and I and you would think, well, and because it was still a day, there wasn't like any Vegas stuff to really do. So we ended up spending most of our day one, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna be this is gonna be silly and also like apropos.
Mm-hmm.
I spent our first day literally just hanging out at a comic book store. Like after we got our stuff, we're like, all right, you don't want to keep hanging around here. It's like, what do you want to do? It's like, let's see what there's a comic
Hmm.
store here. We found one at a nearby mall. That was kind of a
Mm.
roundabout way to go. We head there, and then literally we just geeked out about comics in that store for at least 90 minutes, or at least long enough to know that enough time has passed. And we did buy some stuff. Ghetto mostly. Although he was the one that was a kid in a candy store. He like wanted to get everything. And I felt similar, but had more self control. So only really about two comics. But we were there, just talking shop about comics, roasting whatever bad comics we saw, getting hype or whatever cool comics we saw, and as well just geeking out in that entire store.
I mean, I guess.
Ghetto says, "Don't you sidejack? I didn't want to go to Brock."
Well, here's the thing.
He lied
Here's the
as
thing.
easily as he breathed.
Here's the thing. When it comes to, first of all, the brothel that apparently that people are saying that is like the most infamous one, I think it was called like the Bunny Ranch or something. That's on the tip, like the bottom tip of Nevada,
Ah, tip.
nowhere near Vegas. The the other thing is there were so many shows you could have gone to. There was Cirque du Soleil. There
On
was
to be quite
Adventure.
to be quite honest, Jack, none of it really interest us. We might have done the Michael Jackson or the Prince tribute show, but both of us were like, if it ain't the real deal, we're not interested. The
Mm,
only show we would have gone, if not for the fact that the performer was gone by the time we were there, was literally both of us got hype on the when we saw on the billboard Griffin, black is a black comedian, star of Undercover Brother, been in a bunch of movies in the 2000s. We were like, oh crap, we get to see Eddie Griffin, but then we saw the day. He's like, he's gone, he's gone. And that's really the only show we got hyped up. Everything else, we had like no interest. We had no interest in
well,
any Circuit du Soleil stuff.
the thing is that there's literally so many shows in Vegas that there was bound to be something there.
Yeah,
I was even I was even
yeah,
trying to see if there was any like
yeah,
concerts I wanted to go to.
yeah, and the show was gone by the time we got there. So look,
That's not the
hey,
point,
look,
but yeah.
hey,
But either way, you had fun with going to the comic book store, even though to me it's the equivalent of going to McDonald's
well, you're not a comic book fan.
across sea.
Well, you're not a comic book fan, so it's not gonna be the same experience for you.
Well, yeah, I just mean in the sense of like I don't know if comic book stores have different catalogs of like items like books you can buy, but
Well,
to be fair,
can you clarify? Like, what do you mean different catalogs? You mean like different companies?
no, just literally different books from other stores. Like one store would not have the same stock as the other store.
That's that's usually the case. So you're not one comic book store is going to be the same with another. They're all going to have different stuff. And so what's there that's what they have. And Ghetto and I saw a lot of stuff where like that got us hype. And 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 keep in mind, we're both comic geeks, and so that stuff's gonna interest us. And I was already planning to do something like that while on the trip because we need to go to different comic shops around the country because not one of them are the same, and you're guaranteed at least to get something unique from that store. Like an example, one of the comics I purchased is a Marvel comic, but it was from one of their more actually adult series that's not related to the Marvel universe. It has nothing to do with superheroes. It literally was Marvel trying to do, hey, let's do books for an older audience and get like really great artists to draw this stuff. And I got that. It's a book that Marvel probably will never reprint, and I got a copy of it.
Fair,
And and
fair.
and for Ghetto's experience, he shares in the comments. He goes for one. He says he's proud of his purchases, and we could have seen the new Turtles movie, but we didn't want to see that shit. And also in regards to where Ghetto lives, he said there's no comic book stores around him, and I have a faint idea where he lives, or at least what type of environment he lives in, and I could believe that. And so he also continues, we were happy to see a comic book shop that actually sold comics, which Jack, if you don't know, that's comic shops are actually have been dying out in the past like 5 years, to the point that comic shops are converting themselves into either a a card shop or a figurine shop for stuff like Warhammer, and all that comic stuff is slowly, it'll come to the point where the comic book shop will only have comics into like a corner of the store. So the shop we went to, it was a full blown comic shop within a mall of all places, and it was full decked full of comics along with other little knickknacks here and there. So for us, it was worth the afternoon. Uh, Hanging around in there, getting lost in our little world to the point that both of us kind of forgot that we were in Vegas.
But that's the thing. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, and
Like
also,
my whole thing was just like you forgot you were in Vegas, which was the main thing. Like you were in a city that had a lot of other entertainment too, but it's fine. You enjoyed yourself on day one with comics.
I'm so
Good for
happy.
you.
He said with contempt.
That's the thing. It's just like
I'm Look, I will spend that time. To me, put it this way, I get to
it's fine. I understand. It's time well spent for you. I understand. Well, it's just a whole let's agree to disagree kind of thing.
is literally, dude. There wasn't a show that interested
I know. That's
as far as
fine.
what was advertised, and I really really didn't want to gamble.
No, that's fine. You didn't have to gamble. Okay, we're going into a different topic, but
Yeah, as Ghetto says, we weren't in Vegas for Vegas. We were there for a video game tournament.
mm,
Anyways, let's move. Yeah, but let's move on. Let's do move on. What was it? So yeah, so that was my day one, and let, let's see. Now, day two for you, Jack. Go ahead. Your account.
with day two, it was really a. By the way, when it came to the groupings of who was with who, I wasn't alone. I was with my brother. We were sharing the same room at the Luxor. So we ended up staying at the Luxor, and on day two, we were basically somewhat tired. We were trying to figure out where everything's at. We got our breakfast, and we also found out how expensive everything is because of these resorts and because of these in-house restaurants.
Oh yeah.
And thankfully, at that time, I actually saved up. You know how I am. I'll find a coupon somewhere. I found some type of like way to get some free meals. So I was actually spending less than usual than what most people spend. Did you know how much this buffet was for breakfast?
Uh, 20 bones a head.
$34 each.
Oh, good lord. Was the food even worth that much?
Eh. But thankfully, I got a twofer. I got a 2-for-1 coupon. So basically, we both ate for only $34. So instead of having to pay 34 each, we only paid 34.
As far as Ghetto and I's food, the cool thing is that the place that we stayed at, luckily they there was some places that was in the area, and they actually have you're staying at their resort, they'll get you'll get special discounts at these places, and we definitely took advantage of that.
Well,
Otherwise, we pretty much I think the good thing was I think I learned about Ghetto is that he is a definition of a bird eater.
I see.
So literally, food wasn't a problem because he didn't get hungry that much. And when he did get hungry, all like if you were to give him a burger, he would be full just from the fries.
That's my mom. That's my mom.
So if anything, it was mostly me eating and munching on stuff because I'm a big
But
fatty.
and like the thing is that whenever it came to down to it, we there were those coupons were technically discounts because of the player card I was using. So for those that don't know about Vegas, from what I heard, uh, ghetto that kind of sounds weird. It sounds like you're like wanting to watch a mukbang for out of hack.
Yes, he technically did that, just not in the way you described it.
But so for the what a player card is basically is the equivalent of a membership card. It's free to get, and I use that to basically be able to get some free stuff. But other than that, we ate our breakfast. We went and literally the okay, when we got to the hotel, the Lyft driver told us, yeah, it's gonna be in. He said I wouldn't recommend walking to the convention center. It's the heat's too much. It's gonna be a 30-minute walk. You don't want to do that. Get a lift. While we were walking down to where the lift area was, we saw a guy with an Evo tag. Like he had the Evo, yeah, the lanyard. And I told my brother, "Hey, look, he has an Evo lanyard." And I kind of thought, "Oh wait, a bunch of these people right now are heading to Evo." Because there was a giant group of them just already walking over to a certain section. So I'm like, you know what? Let's follow the crowd. Let's see where it takes us. He's like, he obviously knows where he's going. I mean, he has his controller in his hand. He obviously knows where he's going.
He's a man walking with a purpose.
So we ended up tailing this guy. I'm pretty sure he never knew that we were tailing him. And literally just following him where he was going, we stumbled across the convention center. And okay, the one thing I found amazing about the Luxor was the fact that the Luxor, Excalibur, and the Mandalay Bay, they're all connected. Literally all three of those hotels, I don't even know if it's even going further than that, but all those three hotels are connected. They have, I wouldn't say it's underground, it's somewhere in the premise where basically it's like walking, when you walk in between the two hotels, it's like walking through a plaza. And it's like you suddenly go in like, oh, I feel like I'm at a mall. So we ended up doing that. We started walking towards the convention center. We asked the security guard there, how do we get our tags, because we had no idea how to do that. We didn't get any special gamer tag names. It just said community on ours. But either way, I still loved it. I enjoyed it. They gave us a free little water bottle.
Yes,
Or what?
which came very handy.
It certainly did. And we were walking around that whole convention center the whole time. I was enjoying myself. I immediately got in line for the Project L fighting game because I've been waiting for it since 2019. I've been somewhat following it since that time, and I pretty much like it. I do like it.
All right, then we can go into our kind of the first big topic then with Project L, because not only did Jack get to try it out, but so did Ghetto and I. And the cool thing was that well, on what have been Ghetto and I's first time trying it, and Jack and his brother's second time. Since we were all together, that was day 2 of the convention. Since we're all together there, we actually got to try the game as Riot intended, where each player controls the character. And for those who are not sure, hold up. God dang it, Johnny. So Project L is just how we're calling Hack's participation in that thing. Shut
Oof.
up.
Oof.
Any case, for those on the for to give you an idea, the way Project L is structured in terms of a fighting game is, as Ghetto says, is like a mix of the Power Rangers fighting game and Guilty Gear. That
Mm-hmm.
being that it's 2v2, and the controls are very much a more simplified version of Guilty Gear. You got 2 attack buttons, essentially a light and heavy, and you got 2 special buttons that, and each of them do different special moves depending on which you press and the direction you go in, similar to Smash.
And you do
Along with
still have a slash. That's just a
yes,
heavy.
yeah, and you do have a your tag button. So, oh, and a parry button. You also have a parry button,
Oh,
which none of us really used.
and a dedicated dash button. Okay, that parry button is you have to be so precise. It's not like how it is with like Street Fighter 6 where you just hold it and your character's just like turns Super Saiyan God blue. He just does a little swipe, and then if it doesn't do anything, well, that's it.
Yep. So that gives you the rough idea, and all 4 of us tried it. As far I do like I will say I do love the idea of that the 2v2 fighting game is managed to use 4 can have 4 people playing at the same time. Honestly, I think the last fighting game I know that even did that had that feature was, oh my god, was many years ago. 2 only come to mind that did that. There was Mortal Kombat 9 with the tag mode, and Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And those games are over 10 years old. So it's been a long time since a fighting game had a feature like that. So it was cool that it did do that. And as far as actually felt, to kind of emphasize what Ghetto said, when it felt like Guilty Gear, mostly like Guilty Gear Strive. I do want to point that out. More
Mm-hmm.
like Strive, and that it's very much simplified, but that certainly mean that there's not a lot to learn. And with the character I pick, who for all intents and purposes, the character was Ari. So if you're League of Legends fans, you know who that is. For those of us like me who are not, basically she is Morgan, but a fox chick.
She's a kitsune.
Oh, now you call her Kitsune.
Why?
Anyways, nothing. So that's the character I picked because honestly, since she spoke to me gameplay wise, because that's the only one I recognize. I'm like, oh, let's see, she has air maneuverability, she has a lot of projectiles. Yeah, she's Morgan.
Yeah,
She's
yeah. I
Morgan.
saw him do that, and I'm like, well, when he saw the trailer, I knew he was gonna pick that character. Especially, he's like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. It was consistently rising in his voice.
Yeah, mostly because of the one I understood just from a gameplay perspective. Okay, I get what this character is supposed to be. The
Hmm.
others, not so much. Nevertheless, far as me trying out the game, I very much enjoyed it as well. And I'm hopefully the game is free, because if it's not, I don't see myself paying more than $10 for it. Quite honest, because
Well,
the game there was a few things I saw hopefully things that is easy can be fixed by the time the game properly launches. And the first thing would be the characters gotta do more damage. They
Well,
do.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's already sold for you because it's free to play. It's going to be free to play.
Eh, well, we assume. We assume.
No,
But more than
they
likely,
said
oh, the,
that it
oh, they,
was.
oh, they did. Any
Yeah,
case, although, move that aside, the characters do need to do more damage.
they do.
Because within our matches, almost all of them ended in a timeout.
Actually,
Yeah.
hold on. Uh, I do remember something. It just popped into my head. Really, we just need practice. And because I saw this one person on it was a clip. I think it was one of the devs showing off the potential of these characters, like by themselves, not just in a tag team battle. The character was Yasuo. For those that don't know who he is, just picture a samurai, an edgy samurai, one of them lone swordsman type of samurais with long, bushy hair.
So Ronin, for
Yeah,
everyone in the know.
I forgot what the term was, but yes. Um, I saw him do a standard or supposedly standard combo. It took the person's like 50% of his health. Just from that.
So that could be true. It could be the fact that we're none of us really know how to play the game, but I don't think I don't buy that as the reasoning because any of the other games that were available we're able to have full matches to like actually properly beat someone.
Hmm.
So, and I will admit it did took me a while to grasp how to use my character and how she's supposed to be used. So I do give that credence that like because most of our first times playing the game, there was a lot to learn just because of how unique it is compared to more to the its fighting game contemporaries, you could say. So
Hmm.
that possibly could be the reason why we weren't doing so much damage. Nevertheless, it definitely was a sticking point and sticking point during our time playing it, and as well personally, it's me personally. I don't know how you feel, Jack, but I think the game could be a little faster.
For sure. The game could be a little faster, but again, really, we both weren't really using too much of the tag system.
Yeah, so
And
I actually wonder how like what's the proper intention of how to do it because how to
it's
tag
to extend the
because
combo. Well, yeah, yeah, I guess
yeah,
obviously, but
so like a Marvel game.
yeah. But like the
I was like,
thing is, okay, so here's the thing when it comes for anyone that's actually like gonna be watching the like trailers and see how the game is, just be warned, if you're gonna want to play this with a friend, you gotta make sure you trust your friend. Because
trust it with your life.
because I had a tough time trying to fight Ghetto and Hack because I felt like I was alone. And I don't know if I don't Hack. Did you ever realize that? I don't know if you
uh,
did,
no, I was too focused on trying to understand my character.
but like, okay, so here's the thing. Here's how it pretty much went throughout the whole thing. I told my brother, I'm gonna be point and you'll be support. Remember, you can be able to extend the combos I do by pressing forward and tag, like the tag button. The tag button. Press the tag button. Like that, like, like,
See this button? Press it when I finish a combo.
and basically what ended up happening was I do decent fighting against Hack and Ghetto, but after a certain point, Ghetto would end up helping Hack in some way. Like he would either extend the combo or he would break my combo, and then either that or I get comboed. And usually, whenever someone gets comboed, that's when the character your teammate can do the special button and taunt and tag, and it'll do pretty much the equivalent of Guilty Gear's burst to kind of like stop it. My brother never did that. He never bursted. He rarely tagged, like tag assisted. And the fact, yeah, you didn't realize you were doing it, but yeah, even then, you were a lot of help that I couldn't get.
Well,
And there was at one point, there was at one point where I told my brother, "Hey, I'm gonna tag you in. I'm gonna tag you in," and he was staring off into space. He was staring off into space. I'm like, I'm gonna tag you in. I'm gonna tag you in. He's like, oh, he grabs onto the joystick. He grabs onto the joystick. He's like, but I'm dead. Like, this is a new round. I'm tagging you in now because I'm about to die.
Wow, he really was something must have distracted him.
Yeah, obviously the gameplay. He was staring off into space with the gameplay.
Oh, that's a good. Yes, we are. Okay, we are Jaeger pilots. Trying to just okay, maybe he didn't do his best, but at least 50%. Yeah, yeah, and that 50% allowed me to beat him in one round. So I got that dub. And it was a mirror match too. Oh, by the way, we're gonna talk about mirror matches. That's gonna be a thing later on in this episode. So, but yeah, so for Project L, very looks plays cool. I'm glad it's very unique. Hopefully, when the final game releases, if not the damage, hopefully with the benefit of being more experienced at the game, it would resolve a lot of the kind of quirks that I wasn't gelling with with the demo, and as well, it will be another game for a whole bunch of us to be salty over for when we do our fight night episodes.
Even then,
especially when we have to work together.
Yeah, and even then, I am thoroughly convinced that they're barely at the halfway point.
Maybe because they're definitely need a lot more characters in their current roster they have now.
Because
it'll probably be another 3 years of development.
Yeah, because the two characters I know that they're gonna add in, it was Jinx and Ilaoi. Those were the two characters, and I'm assuming they're gonna add in Vi, which is, I'm pretty sure Vi is gonna be like the equivalent of like your basic Ryu, where she does a lot of anti-airs with a Shoryu type of DP. Might have a projectile. I don't know.
If she doesn't have a projectile, then she's not a Ryu. She is gonna be an art of fighting character. Something like King or maybe even.
I don't think she's gonna be a grappler though.
Well, we'll see.
She's very punchy.
Who knows? Then she might be someone like Makoto.
Oh my god, that sounds terrifying.
Oh yes, oh yes. Oh,
Ghetto, but yeah,
we'll talk about that, Ghetto. We'll talk about that once I talk about my experience with day 2.
But even then, don't for those that know, Riot has a thing where they like to put a certain base amount of characters in the beginning, and then eventually they're just gonna keep adding. They're probably gonna eventually at least add the whole roster of League of Legends characters. If not, the whole roster would be probably too much. Maybe 90%. I don't know.
I like that's high hopes right there, Jack. You know what? Keep those high hopes. Keep them.
No, they eventually do. That's what happened with the Wild Rift on mobile. They're like slowly adding in characters, tuning, tweaking them a little bit for.
I guess this is for me. That will be depending if the game can keep momentum and popularity as the years go by.
Hey, who knows? Maybe they're gonna use their money as like how Epic Games uses their Fortnite. I was about to say Fortnite. Fortnite money.
Maybe, who knows? But all right. to the original question, continue on with your account of day 2, Jack.
From there, we ended up looking uh around the shops. We didn't really go too much to the stages. We were mostly there for the actual convention area. So we ended up milling around in the artist gallery, and by God, there is too much
Yes.
booba. There is too much booba.
Yes.
Especially there is one
But
like
JJ.
there was one corner artist that they were in the corner, and obviously they were the most popular because there was always a consistent line for that artist, and I could
Good for
tell
them.
why.
They good for them, they deserve that cheddar.
And even then, it's not just the booba. That literally their art is amazing. The coloring, the detail, it's all amazing. But it's also a lot of tits and ass.
Yeah, Jack is perfectly describing what I experienced when I went to a local anime convention here in our city. And luckily, it wasn't as in your face as it was in Evo, but it was there. So I'm glad. So Jack, I'm actually glad now you understand how I felt when I went to that anime convention many months ago. And the
Yeah.
and the, yep. So and of course, we'll always like really good cheesecake art. I think what probably turned us away is the fact that number one, we're not in like in our early 20s. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not as interested to get a wall scroll of, I don't know, let's say of Cammy in a green thong or whatever. That doesn't really interest us anymore.
Yeah.
So a little bit of
Anymore.
age, and but also to the I think also to the fact that it's also very kind of in your face, and at the same time you're like it's appealing to look at, but you think, but am I really gonna show it off?
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like because I remember my brother was looking through for that particular artist because he wanted there was one Kimberly one he wanted that actually looked really nice. It was like Kimberly, and then like there was a in the background was a splash of colors, kind of like almost like how her critical
Oh, the
art is.
the graffiti.
Yeah, with the whole graffiti stuff. But then that one was sold out right in front of his eyes, and he was like, "Well, I'll try. I'll buy the other Kimberly thing." I'm like, "Which one?" He points to the one below that one, and it was Kimberly in a bikini next to a arcade cabinet, and he was explain like I was telling him, but that's way too. I was telling him like, "Are you really sure you're gonna get that? Like, where are you gonna put it?" Like, "Oh, I'll put it in my room." Like, yeah, but our mom's gonna go into your room and she's gonna see that. And like, and he's like, "Yeah, but what's wrong with this? She's in a bikini." I'm like,
Oh,
"Yeah, that."
that is almost such an innocent answer. Gotta love it.
And I'm like, "Yeah, but here's the thing. Bikinis are all about context. Like, if
and
it was
she ain't,
her."
and she ain't in no beach.
Exactly. Like I was like, if she was in a beach where everyone else was wearing bikinis and swim shorts, fine. That makes perfect sense. But she's literally wearing a bikini in front of an arcade cabinet, and that's it.
Yeah, essentially it's a pinup. That's what mostly is. And there's nothing wrong with pinups, but at the end of the day, when you're gonna buy something with your hard-earned cash, you're like, is this really worth it to own? And
Yeah.
and even for Ghetto, for as perverted as he claims himself to be, even he was not interested. And even the comment he just put in the chat. He says, "I thought about buying that Terry body pillow case as a joke until I realized I don't own a body pillow, and even as a joke, I'm still buying a sexy body pillow."
Buy a stallful body pillow and then add a controller and a freaking joystick, a fight stick controller to it.
It, uh, also, and also yeah, and also Ghetto had a full. He had not a moral conundrum, but he had a philosophical conundrum on even buying the Terry Bashojo statue. A whole not a psychotic meltdown, but he had to really dig deep in his thoughts and think, is this something I want to pay money for? And at the end of the day, as much as we joke and as we joke and we like to look at that type of stuff online, most of us don't want that hanging in our walls because we have some sense of shame and dignity, a little
And
bit at
plus, we
least.
want to invite people to our houses and rooms.
Exactly. Although Nikita's like Ghetto, he is what you see is what you get. So for anyone who wants to be with him, they got to understand where he's coming from, and if they don't jive with it, then he don't jive with you.
He's an awesome man. How can you not jive with him? How is it
That's
possible to not jive with him?
because you got to be a person who really really loves Prince, aka the artist formerly known as Prince.
Uh,
But nevertheless, there was some art that I did purchase from the artist alley on day two, and a- and mostly one of the things that is one of my criticism was from the anime convention that I went months ago, and that I'm glad Evo at least had that the one I went didn't have was that have your sexy stuff, but have stuff that is also cool to look at. Some
mm-hmm.
cool drawings, especially we're at a fighting game convention. Yes, fighting game women are nice to look at. They're very appealing. They're awesome, but also fighting games are also cool. They're action oriented. Instead of a pinup, maybe there's a lot to ask of the artist. Maybe draw a scene or draw something that has some a lot of artistry in it. Just stuff like that, or something that will look that catches your eye. That is not just a boob or a butt.
I
And
can't. I
look,
can only handle so much jury feet. I swear,
uh,
it was every. I was
all,
not. I was surprised.
I was surprised the lack of my Shiranuis.
That too. Now that you mention
Actually,
it, you're right.
actually think about there wasn't actually a lot of KOF characters on
There
display.
was one My Shiranui. I remembered that. My brother even mentioned it. Like he showed it and he pointed it out to me.
Yeah, but that's just one. Er, I mean, freaking VTubers got
There
more
was a lot of
exposure than
Gargura.
K. Was like all I could think. What the heck are you guys doing? Get out of here! Get
What
out
are
of
you
here!
doing here? What are you doing here?
And like it's something that's some slightly anime stuff into it. Oh yeah, just like, put in the VTubers. Like no, get out of here! You got nothing to do with Street Fighter.
So much Gargura everywhere.
Johnny says you wanted to actually try, you poor thing. You
But there
joke,
was
but luckily there was a few artists to quote to use Johnny's words that did actually try, and I got them. I got some awesome for the first time. I actually got a Dragon Ball poster that is more than just still poses of characters. It was actually pretty cool. This artist I kid you not, Jack. This artist was able to put every single forming character in Dragon Ball from the original to
I think
Super
I know which one.
in
Yeah.
one big poster, and I was like, "That is amazing! I'm getting
I
that."
yeah, I think I know. Was it like a collage of different characters, right?
Exactly. That was
Yeah.
I had to get that. There was a really cool X-Men art print of the Jim Lee era. I thought that looked nice. The one, I guess, girly poster, that's the way to put it, that I got was of Samus from an artist that I already previously bought from. His artist name is Iron Pinky. I actually like his art stuff quite a lot, and I wasn't too interested in what he was selling, but I really did like. I like the way he draws Samus, so I did get Samus image from him that wasn't too distasteful, in my opinion. And also the Toidles. For some Jack, it's very odd how in this trip between Ghetto and I, the turtles became a very very important for this trip, not knowing what was gonna happen on the final day of Evo.
It was
Yes,
all foreshadowed in your trip.
yes, it was all foreshadowed that that the heroes in the half shell were gonna do something cool and unexpected.
Now,
Uh,
I didn't get that many artist stuff, mostly because I do love the art. I just don't end up buying a lot of art stuff, and I was already going in there for a big spend anyways for one item, so I couldn't afford to buy that much. I only bought one thing, and it was far from fighting games, and it was mostly because I was obsessed. I'm still currently obsessed with it because I've been playing it. It was a poster of all the characters in Persona 5.
fair enough. That's fair enough.
But I was very tempted to buy that same collage you were looking at. But
Nope.
but then my wallet said no, please don't.
I was a bit more loosey goosey with my wallet, which I am paying for now. When I meant paying for, I meant like in terms of repercussions.
Hmm.
But yeah, but I don't regret it. There's only one thing I regret purchasing over in that trip, and it had nothing to do with Evo.
And yeah, we'll get to that in just a bit. Oof.
I don't
But
actually. I don't know. I don't know if I should share it because I'm not sure the legalities of me sharing this story.
oh, did you sign an NDA of some sorts?
No, not NDA. But if I say more, I feel like I'm gonna incriminate myself, even though I don't think what I did was illegal. But it's one of those things I don't want to give a company ammunition, so I'm not gonna say
Ah,
much.
I see.
I'll just say Ghetto and Jack know exactly what I'm referring to, and for the rest of y'all, let's just say even if the Vegas experience I had wasn't in the shows, wasn't in the gambling, but I had another form of the Vegas experience that most people who come to that city at one point will experience. And uh and I'm just glad that I am alive and that's behind me. That is all.
I'll I'll give a vague description, very vague, so don't worry. Uh More like I'm going to give advice. When you go to Vegas, be careful with your belongings. Stay on the strip if you're a tourist. Don't go too far off the strip because the neighborhoods they'll know you're a tourist and they will take advantage of you, especially if they saw certain TikTok trends.
Yep.
There you go.
And
That's as much as I'm gonna say. So to protect him, because I was kind of hoping he would go in depth, but he is correct that it could incriminate him.
so yeah. And also, Gus, it's not that bad. You'll find out about 2 years statute of limitation. Yeah, and maybe in a year or two, I'll go more in depth. But for now, just know that I got the Vegas experience, just not the one Jack was hoping for.
Yeah. So while that was happening to him, literally, I guess to say like how the time frame was, I asked him what time he was gonna come in. He told me vaguely because I didn't know what happened at that time. He just said, "I got something came up. I have something to do. I won't be there till around 3." And I was there in the morning. So yeah, pretty much around then. That's when around 3. I went back to the convention to meet up with Hack and Ghetto for like as quickly as I could because I wanted to see them because we didn't have a chance until that point to see each other, and that's when he told me the story.
Yep. But uh, I'll go and get my account. So on the day two, Ghetto and I did get there early because we did have to compete, and this one I will go with this one. Ghetto had to compete first, and he is gonna
Oh,
have to take an L himself because he thought that he signed up for the King of Fighters 15 tournament,
okay.
but he
Oh,
did
wait,
not.
wait, hold on, hold on. Let me because it might be confusing. So
Okay.
when Hack saying day two, he means day one of Evo. He got there a day before Evo started. So a day before.
Well,
Okay,
no.
that
Well,
was
no.
confusing.
Well, no. Let me. No, no, no. It's like this. So I flew a day before Evo.
Mm-hmm.
However, the proper day one of Evo was just the registration. That was it's if the event's day one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now and then yeah. So as Ghetto said, technically day one is day zero.
Gotcha.
For test purposes, we'll just say Thursday. So, uh, so Get and I did arrive early on that Thursday, but there was nothing much to do at the convention because they were literally like just as we were getting our badges, they were still setting up the convention space for everything. It's
Okay.
not until Friday that the actual convention properly started, and by that point, um, Jack was still uh, in the journey of coming to Vegas, while Ghetto and I were still there on Friday. So this is what short account of what we did on Friday. That was the day we were gonna be doing our competitions. Ghetto was the first one to compete since his pools or his little area where he was gonna fight against was he was the first one up for the schedule. And as I was saying, he had to take he had to take an L because he thought he signed up for King of Fighters 15 and Tekken 7. Turns out he only signed up. It turned out he signed up for Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 7. And right before he went on his plane trip, he essentially crash coursed his KOF team and learned a whole bunch of combos so he could be ready for Evo. So he literally just stood up and wasted a whole bunch of time playing the wrong game.
And that was on Friday.
Yes, that was on Friday where the competition started,
So that's
and
still day one, though. No.
it's day two.
Well,
Is the
I'm going by the Evo schedule tournament where it says day one, August 4th,
which is
Friday.
wait, hold on. God dang it. Hold on.
I'll send you the.
No, no, no.
Oh,
That's the day of the convention, but the Evo itself is from August 3rd to the 6th.
okay. Well, I was going by what
So
Evo said day one was. So day one for me was.
that's why I just go by the day, like Thursday, Friday. It's simpler
Yeah.
for everyone. I can't get it.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm getting confused on the whole thing, so I'm trying to get it
I know
straight.
that's what I'm just saying. Let's just stick with Thursday, Friday, Saturday instead of
Mm.
day one or day two, since we both of us came at different points, came in at different days. So this was Friday. Jack hasn't been in Vegas yet. Ghetto and I have already arrived on Thursday. So there you go. Now, as far as get as far how far get as far as Ghetto went through, he lost his first match, and then when he went to the losers bracket, he also lost against that one as well. And it's and even though he lost, it's about what we expected. But we're there mostly to have fun, so we're not taking it too deeply. We're not as salty as Johnny likes to imagine we were. Because the same thing happened to me when I competed Street Fighter 6 later in the day. And I I will say though, I have a technical dub because my first opponent didn't show up, so technically I did moved on in the bracket. So I technically won my first fight by showing up, being by actually attending. But on my actual proper first fight, I didn't do so hot. I lost as well. I forget who I went up against. I think it was a. Thank God if I against any JP. Oh, I remember. I fought against a E Honda player, and I will say this, Jack. I'm glad no E Honda players made it to the finals
You
because
know
he's
what's funny?
an annoying character
I
to deal with.
I apparently saw that on there is a tier list that people made. Apparently, E Honda was the lowest because of the
Yeah,
recent Evo stuff.
yeah. Although a lot of people kind of rate him higher because there was a few moves that were hard to get around with. Specifically the butt slam because
Nah, yeah,
that could trick you up to know where he's kind of landing and where you got to block. Of course, that doesn't matter if you parry, but then he might set up the Orochi throw.
it really depends if you're good enough at parry, doing a perfect parry.
Yeah, and so I lost against the E Honda player, and then for my second match, I technically did a little better, as in like I put a few hits in, and it was against I think it was just a Ken player, I want to say. But it is nothing to write home about. I properly lost, as probably a majority of people did in those pools. But I had a good time nevertheless. Luckily, Ghetto fared slightly better when he competed in Tekken 7. He lost his first match when he used Master Raven, which was his proper main character. But after that first match, he decided to just do like use the F it option, and he uses Lucky Chloe as a
Hmm.
way to just mess around, and that actually helped him a bit. The person he was fighting against had a little bit of a tough time against Ghetto's Lucky Chloe.
Hmm.
And I was like, and in my head I was like, oh shit, is this the one? Is this the one? And he got one. He won one round, but after that, the player pretty much adapted to like the few moves Ghetto knew with Lucky Chloe, and he was eliminated. So, but again, we all had a good time, and Ghetto even said, much like listen, I rizzed the girl who was overseeing the brackets by accident. That's right. It was the woman overseeing the Tekken pools.
Hmm.
I think she complimented him. He's like, all right, I gave him a little inch in his step, so if you so to speak. So,
Oh, you'll give it an
but
inch.
or a little. I don't. I forgot how the phrase goes. Whatever it means. But that was pretty much how much we competed. We didn't go very far as predicted. And heck, even when we went to the arcades to play around with like other people, it just reminded me of, man, like, well, I get a lot of these are old fighting games, but it just shows how much I really don't know how to play, at least compared to people, even just on a casual level. I think the only fighting game I played there in which I felt a little proud that I still remember how to play and do stuff with was literally a Soul Calibur 2.
Hmm.
And the arcade version of Soul Calibur 2, I should say. And that's only because I played that game so much in my youth with the game on the GameCube, and that I still kind of remember how to do certain characters' moves like just by muscle memory. Uh, and And luckily, Soul Calibur 6 still retains some of those characters' same inputs a little bit. So I did okay with that, just playing casually Soul Calibur 2 using Keelik, who's not really a hard character to use anyway in the first place. But other than that, that was pretty much as good as I was using in a fighting game. Anytime I try to play against someone, I just got roasted and toasted.
Good.
Jeez.
I'm kind of a little bit peeved still.
Oh, good lord.
It was karma.
I guess, I suppose. I suppose so. Hey, but at the very least I got to enjoy my tie. Although man, you really gotta be there early if you just want to play a lot of the more modern fighting games just casually, where the casual setups were, where there were a
Hmm.
whole bunch of consoles and TV set up. And I kid you not, I tried doing that, and I think I stood in line for about a good 45 minutes just to get body in Street Fighter 6.
See, the thing is, I realized that at a certain point in time, like pretty much the afternoon or later, etiquette when it comes to sets goes out the window. Where it's like there will be two people, they'll be playing against each other, and then 5 rematches later, they're still playing against each other, and there's people behind them like, hey, we wanna play too. But yeah. Oh,
Johnny asks, "How is it karma when he would get whooped like that, whether you went there with him or not?"
because I wasn't told. I was left alone, like a dog in a rain.
He says as his brother is standing next to him.
Hey, 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 hey. If I didn't invite him, I would have been alone in that hotel. I would have been like, okay, does anyone remember the freaking meme of the freaking mouse eating cheese by himself on the floor?
No,
That would have been me.
no, I don't remember that name. Johnny says, "Okay, Ethan Page, chill." Ethan Page, why is that name so familiar? Oh, Ellen. That's right, Ellen. That's right.
I don't know who Ellen is.
It's a Hollywood actress, like who
Oh,
who a few years ago became a trans man.
that explains a lot. I don't know much about. I literally, I've told Hack this many times before. Unless if they do something that'll like make me memorize their name, I only refer to them as their characters that they are famously portrayed.
Which is
Like,
fine. It's just it's useless knowledge to remember actors and actresses' names and all that.
kiddo, you got it, you got it,
That's
you
it.
got it, you got it.
Oh my god! It is the Carl Weezer version.
Oh my god, that's even better. But
Let me
mhm,
finish Friday. Finish off. So after all the after all the week after Ghetto and I finished after Ghetto finished competing Tekken 7, we did hang around a little bit more, and but eventually we did leave because we were definitely wearing down by the end of the day. It also didn't help that for which I'm pretty sure you felt it too, Jack, because Las Vegas is for us 2 hours behind our time zone, and for Ghetto it's about 3 hours. You know, it didn't
mhm.
take long for us to get tired, even though it was like 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening.
Well, here was the thing. It was not the jet lag that got me because really, I worked nights. The whole thing about like 2 hours, 3 hours, all that stuff would have been null and void for me, mostly because if I lived in Vegas right now, I would pretty much be a upstanding standard citizen, where I wake up in the morning because I usually sleep here and where I'm at 4 in the morning. Over there, I would have been sleeping by 2 at the latest 2 a.m. So it
Oh,
wasn't
good.
really the fact that it was jet lag. It was mostly because I'm a fat ass. I don't walk much. I ended up walking back and forth between the Luxor and the convention center. Even though I was in an air conditioned area, I'm not used to walking that much. And the fact that I'm not good with giant crowds. It drains me very, very quickly being in a giant crowd. And also,
Okay.
the only thing that I forgot to take into account was my medicine.
I see. I see.
Because I take my medicine at 3 p.m. here when I should have been taking it at 1 p.m. over there. So,
like like I said in the beginning, we learned a lot of lessons in this trip.
And literally, you know what's funny? When I
What?
got out of the airport, I literally was telling myself, I gotta really change the clock on my alarm to make sure that I'm I'm taking my medicine at the time I always do, and I forgot about it.
Um, you're alive, aren't you?
Barely. I was like literally, I was literally close to passing out, and I was dry
Well,
heaving.
well, certainly the mask you're wearing didn't help.
Oh no, the
And
mask
and and
actually did help. It helped calm my nerves a bit.
okay. Although, let's see. So let's see. That was so that's really all for Friday. We already talked a little bit of what we happened Saturday uh with with what we talked about before. One things I'll add in for Saturday on my end was that Ghetto and I were actually able to watch the Goro Mark of the Wolves finals. It was much
Oh yeah,
smaller and it was in the SNK booth. That was fun to watch. And and if you got uh and technically if you watch those finals on Twitch, in the background you might be able to see me and Ghetto. If you know what to look for, of course. So there you go. That's my that's Hack's first appearance on Twitch. And also while we're there, we saw a really good Angel cosplayer. Of course,
man.
Getta had to ruin it by saying she got no ass. I'm like, look, she put on the outfit. Not a lot of people even want to wear that. Give her the credit.
I it
Although,
was it was it made me feel some type of way.
oh, that could be taken. That could be taken, and that could be interpreted in many ways.
Yeah,
I wish, I
but
wish,
no, I
nah,
was.
I wish I got a photo with the cosplayer, but there really wasn't a good opportunity for that. But yeah, it's not something I'm going to regret. Unlike, it's probably the one of the few regrets I didn't do at Evo. Even though passing by multiple Manon cosplayers, I didn't. I think what the problem was
Hmm.
that every time I was seeing one walking by, I was like, okay, good. Let me just politely ask them if I could take a picture. But then someone would rush in. He's like a close friend of theirs, and I'm like, all right, I'm moving. Keep moving on. I don't want to be weird. They're here to have a good time too. And it happened with every Manon cosplayer.
Well,
There was another one who I did spot. That Ghetto pointed out, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw her, number one, she was in her second outfit with with the big fluffy feather thing and the
hmm.
shades. But I was like, uh, but then uh, let's just say I didn't find it too appealing, and I was like, I'm not feeling this one.
And
Although,
the
but
thing is,
A for effort on the outfit, but it was
the
one of
thing
those ones
is,
I
you
couldn't do
sometimes
it.
you just gotta be bold and ask them. They won't think it's weird. I know, like in your own mind, you're gonna think it's kind of weird or
Well,
awkward.
no, it was only awkward because literally, as I'm about to ask them, someone like will come to the hut, like either like that I could tell they're close by, and then I'm just interrupting their little conversation.
But it's gonna. I
So
think really in the minds of the cosplayers, I think it's gonna happen regularly. No.
I don't know the etiquette. For personally for me is like I see them they're talking with someone that they're obviously close. They wouldn't hug each other if they weren't close. So I won't bother them. That's just my thing. I just want to be respectful for that. And I know what I look like. I don't want to add to the stereotype.
You just look like Maui.
No, no, not anymore. I don't look like Maui.
I know.
According to Ghetto, now I look like Hurley. I can't win, Jack. I can't win. Like Hurley from Lost. Because of that
Ooh.
comic, Ghetto, now I want to shave off my beard, but then I'm back to looking like Maui again. You know what? F it. Maui's is at least a cool god play voiced by The Rock instead
But
of
I like the
instead of
beard.
literally a. I know, but
Do what
I,
makes you happy.
yeah, and also just do what just fits my look. Johnny says down here, just butt in. They're always how to interact, but Brazilians are touchy feely. So what do I know? Also, Ghetto said standing next to Luong from KOF made me realize I'm taller than her in real life, and he was sad. And the best part, I remember it sounded so much when I looked up the character's actual height. He was still taller than the character's than the fictional character's height, and he was still disappointed.
You know.
But however, Ghetto was right. I got a photo with King from Tekken, and honestly, and honestly, that's all you really need. It'll be nice to have a picture with a Manon cosplayer. Even had an idea how to make a funny photo, but have a picture with King from Tekken, and he is the king. All right. As far as I knew, as soon as I took that picture, that's when I beat Evo. It was a pretty good King cosplayer too.
No, yeah, I think we saw them on the first time we went there, and my brother wanted us to take a picture, but at the same time, I kind of felt off because it was King, and there was another character.
Can you describe the character best you can?
Uh, Almost like a white dress.
See, white dress,
She
colored hair.
no, her hair was
Okay,
black.
okay. So it was a female character. Okay, white dress, female character,
Uh,
black hair.
I think when she posed, she almost posed like in a mantis style.
Um, did it look Asian? Not the
Yes,
person, but the outfit.
yes,
Was there spots of red in the outfit?
yes.
Okay, that's then going by that, most likely that is Kazumi. She's from Tekken 7.
Yeah, and see that was the thing. Like he wanted me and him to pose together with the Tekken characters. I knew King, and I
But
just
he did
faked.
know her.
I faked knowing her. I just went like literally. We just took a picture. I just said thank you, and then like quickly went with my brother.
Scuffled.
Yeah, like scuttled. No, not scuffled. Scuttled
Yeah,
away.
scuttled.
Scuttled
And
away.
in your mind, you're like, who was that woman?
I'm like, I'm pretty sure that woman was from Tekken. I just don't remember who. I don't remember her name.
it's it's fine. It's fine. Other than, oh, funny enough, there was Manon cosplay. Okay, it's a funny moment. So
Hmm.
during the Goro finals, I literally spot another Manon cosplayer walking to the left of my peripheral vision, and I told Ghetto, "Hold up, I spot a Manon. I'll be right back." I go up and I try to follow her, but she literally disappeared. And I'm like, where'd she get? Like, how do I lose a pink-haired woman with a blue outfit who's not even taller than me?
You see, now you understand those animes where the secondary character just disappears even though they have neon purple or some kind of highlights on their hair.
And the best, I kept walking forward, turning to the left and right. I was like, where did she go? Did she quickly undress into her normal clothes? And I
You
can't
see,
recognize her.
you see what happened was, you see what happened was you're the one that was controlling you and the Sims. They missed the QTEs that were Shenmue like.
I forgot. You know what happened? This is what happened. As soon as I spotted her, I got up, and there's that Shenmue 2 QTEs where the screen pauses, turns on black, and you have to do the combination button to get it right. So that, and I'm messing up with the, and I'm like, and just like in Rio's like dull tone, goes, "Damn it, I
Where'd
lost
she
her."
go?
Damn it. And then come back to me sitting back in my chair. Johnny says she put on glasses and honked just walked by her.
Yes.
Also,
The Clark Kent effect.
see, there's proof in that disguise. Also, Ghetto says, he goes, I just like tall hoes. I'm sick of being the one reaching for shit on high shelves. Yo, dog, you like that now, but take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact that you're tall. Slightly taller than me, so not that tall, but tall. A lot of ladies dig that according to the internet. So take
Just
for that with what you will.
reach for the stars, Ghetto. Well, at least in this case, reach for them thighs.
He'll reach for something, all right, but he ain't gonna like it. But yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing I do kind of regret. I wish I took a picture with the Manon cosplayers when I saw them at the moment, and maybe if I wasn't, and maybe if I just, if it and maybe if I was more, assertive. Is that the right word? I guess slightly assertive in wanting to take a picture with them. But again, I was trying to be respectful of them when like other people approached them that didn't want their picture. It was like I could tell it was a friend or something. I was like, all right, and it's, what, I don't want to be a bother. Oh bother.
I was very sad that I couldn't see the DJ and the Rashid. I literally saw a video or like a video clip of DJ and Rashid, and I think there was a Ryu in there, and it was at first Ryu and Rashid in a fighting stance, and then the DJ, the cosplaying DJ, just drive rushing in, just slides into view. I'm like, oh, that would have been a nice
I
picture.
did see a DJ cosplayer because he was even in costume in the finals, but I didn't see a Rashid one, so that one I did miss.
But
Also, Ghetto said,
man, that would have been a nice picture.
none of the Manons are accurate though. They all wear shoes. Oh come on,
True.
and
But
especially in that environment, you don't want them barefooted,
but
even if
even
it's
then, I
for
think Evo doesn't
authenticity.
let you, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, no, they're not gonna let you in there without shoes. They'll let you in. They'll let you in with technically your underwear if it's not that revealing. But
Oh my god.
damn it to hell, they don't want you in them shoes.
Even then, hack. Even then, I literally saw a cami. I mean, I think
Oh,
you saw the same cami.
shoot! On Friday, I saw like 5 cafes
Like
of
I
of,
saw this
ver-
one
of
cami,
various sizes and various sizes and races. Good lord,
and
and none of them with the Street Fighter 6 version. All
I
classic.
could not. It's hard to ignore. I could not stop staring. And in my mind, I just kept laughing to myself because in my mind I'm like, "What you doing with all that ass? Double, double,
Just
double
let it
cheeked
all
up?
hang out. Just let it all hang out.
Like,
Yeah, that's
what are you
also
doing
the
with all
very
that
thing.
ass? Double cheeked up on an
That's
Evo
all.
afternoon."
That's also all of them. What you have to do is like, especially with the more risque ones, is like, all right, take a quick look and then keep going. That's all you can do in that situation. A peek and know that okay, I have established that
I
person is showing off their assets, and now we'll move on.
hella ass. The sun is out.
In Vegas, the sun's always out.
But
Oh,
like,
Johnny says, all right, brother, take notes. He says, sorry to interrupt. I don't mean to bother. Would you take a picture with me real quick? Yeah, that's as simple as that. I know, I know. I'm shy by nature. I'm shy. Well, actually, I'm not really shy. It's more, at least not with the right people. It's just more like I'm just very reserved. That's
but
it.
you know what was bad about the situation with the cami that I saw?
What?
I was literally forced to wait in a line with my brother to get whatever art that he was trying to get.
And was she in front?
No, but she was definitely in a place where I could not look away because if I looked to my left, there was a wall, and if I looked to my right,
There was Cammy.
no, to my right was the very provocative poses of Android 21 and the pinups of jury feet. So I'm like, where do I look? Down on the ground?
You got cosplayers to the left of you, pin up art to the right, and you're stuck in the middle with you.
Stuck in the middle of between ass and feet.
Oh, also Virgo's wet dreams then. Johnny says, "My brother, take a page out of the Johnny Cage playbook. Sunglasses, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't think Jack has the confidence to be the sunglasses indoors guy.
Well, here's the problem. I have glasses. They're prescription. I'm gonna be, if I put on sunglasses, I'll be blinder than what I am.
Hey, oh, you know what you should have done if you didn't want to see all that art? Just literally take off your glasses and be
Take
like,
off.
"Yep, I'm good." And then okay, just put it back in slightly to see if your brother's done. And just take it back out. You're like, "I'm good. There's nothing I need to see." Marty says, "What's this complaining about you? What is all? What's all this complaining about when you're in my heaven?" He says. uh, I mean, obviously we're exaggerating for comedic effect. Wasn't that bad, but
Yeah.
that atmosphere made it hard to not have wandering eyes.
Yeah, it really was.
But sometimes you just gotta take a moment and appreciate and go like, you know what? Good for you that you decided to wear that in public. Because I sure as hell won't. Even if I was a woman.
Man, I feel like that would chafe so much.
Un the
Or
well,
yeah,
ladies have
chafe or whatever the rest.
no, ladies have found ways to wear stuff like that and still feel comfortable. The only thing that they won't be able to do is that their cheeks are going to feel whatever temperature those chairs are going to be.
Ugh.
Exactly, which is why I was genuinely surprised. Not a lot of cosplayers try to do the Street Fighter 6 cami because number one, it's you're not showing off all that ass. It's actually it looks like more regular attire, so it's something you can comfortably wear, and also it's just more relevant. So I was actually genuinely surprised there was still more people wanting to do the traditional cami rather than the Street Fighter 6 cami.
I mean, in a way, kind of gonna say respect just because of that.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, I
willing
got it.
to you're willing to weather the whatever temperatures is gonna be you're gonna be sitting on.
They're
Hot,
gonna go.
cold, everything in between.
They're gonna go to those temperatures, deal with those wedgies, because god damn it, they worked hard all year to make this outfit work, and they're gonna show it off. God damn it.
Then they
Ghetto says,
walked out of that convention center proud into their hotel, and everyone that was not part of Evo is gonna look so confused.
actually no, because since it's Vegas, they'll be like, "Oh, she must be a showgirl."
True, but in reality, they most likely just went to the girls' restroom and changed from there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you notice the girls' restroom had like a security guard on in the entrance?
Really?
As from what I
Wow.
remember, when Dietto and I were there on Friday, I went to use the restroom, and of course the men's restrooms were open willy nilly. But then next it was the women's restroom, and it had a little those had like a little that rope in between stands. You know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about? It
Mhm.
had one of those and a security guard like standing nearby in the women's restroom, and I'm like,
Wow.
God damn. Say, whoa, that tells me something must have happened in previous Evos that they had to hire security for the women's restroom, and
That's
I don't want to know what happened.
yeah. Well, I didn't go to the restrooms there mostly because I assumed they will be overused and not cleaned quickly enough. So I went to the next best thing, which was the restrooms that were like past the convention center into the other, like you know how the convention centers were like from A to F. I went to the ones
Right,
that were near like A, B, and C.
I see. Oh, Johnny says, I mean, how many Psylocke cosplayers ever read a comic in their lives? True, but yeah, that's true. But as Ghetto said, they probably either saw 2 episodes of the cartoon, they play the Marvel games, or they saw Exit Apocalypse, and that's when they decided to dress up as Psylocke. Even though she's no longer a relevant character, but hey, she has a good design, or at least she has a good, sexy design to her. So she'll keep on trucking, keep on trucking. But yeah, I think that's all of noteworthy I had to say about Saturday. And so, Jack, you have anything else to add for that day, or do you want to go straight to Sunday?
Uh, I could not play the arcade, sadly. That was my one. That was the one thing I regretted, and I
Oh,
could. Well, but at the same time, I mean, how am I gonna top the freaking person that's like a master at the rhythm game that's doing 148 like 180 grams fight fist things. These guys, they were like rhythm game masters. I couldn't top that.
oh, hold on. I need to mention something that you got reminded me. So, at the convention, there was also a little area where there was a bunch of indie fighting games, and some of them looked like they still need to work out a few kinks. There was a few that actually looked really cool and looked really fun to play. Then there was one that caught Ghetto's attention and my
Ah,
attention as well.
mhm.
He has mentioned it twice in the chat, but uh Jack, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a developer showing off his drag theme fighting game.
Yeah, I remember I was walking by and I was like walking by that indie area. I didn't have time to actually play any of the games there, but I saw the guy wearing drag, and this is the proper term because he literally that's I don't know the title of the game, but I told my brother like, hey, when I play the game, he's just, and of course him being like, hell no. I'm like, oh, but
So,
it kind of looked interesting.
well, Ghetto and I tried it out, and he says it best. The game was mediocre as hell, but the lip balm was good. And yeah, yeah, it really was like I think our problem with the game is more so like, okay, it's intentionally comedic in nature, but like, is that it? It's is it really just, oh, look how funny it's a drag theme fighting game, how hilarious, and it's a neat novelty and it's stood out. But then after once you played it, play a round or two, you realize, man, this is just like a cheap Street Fighter 2 clone.
Well,
and
what
and
can
I
you do?
and I and I think I picked one of the characters that was like the Dalsim of the game, and I only picked her because she was the least manliest looking drag character in the game. So yeah. Oh, but we although Ghetto and I did actually next to that booth with the drag fighting game, we did found another indie developer who had a very unique 3D fighting game that was but done in a 2D but with 2D combat. But it's something like a Street Fighter EX game where you still play it in a 2D style, but there is uh but the game is using 3D models. And
Oh, okay.
we tried it out, and the game itself, honestly, uh it sounds rude, but it's the best thing to describe it. The way the characters are designed, it looks like a PC game from 2002 in terms of character design. Like, Jack,
Like old
we're talking about
Virtual Fighter?
no, we're talking about like something that it's like it almost is very generic looking of how you would think sci-fi PC game from that era, with guy in armor and gun and woman with slightly less
Okay.
armor and magic stuff coming out of her hands.
Okay,
Guy
I
with
see.
it's very generic looking, unfortunately. But one thing that intrigued us when we were there was the fact that literally Ghetto and I both caught him attention. We're like, is that a comic? And so while we were there, we got to try out the game. We were like, okay, it plays like this. But we are honestly more interested in like, hey, is this gonna be a series? Are you guys gonna be publishing we were invested in the comic of the video game than the video game itself.
Yeah.
That is how it is. But one of the people who's like one of the design artists of the game, and he was there, and we got mostly Gillo got to speak with him. We actually learned something that we didn't know was a common practice within Western comics, and is that the person who was speaking to the designer was that he had worked for Marvel in DC for a good long time, especially during like the 90s. And we're like, really? And we were trying to think like, well, like what comics have you drawn? Maybe we might know a series you've done. And he said that I've done a lot of series. The only thing is that I'm credited. And like, really? Wait, why? Why aren't you credited? And it's because essentially his job as an artist was very similar to a mangaka's assistant in manga. So Jack, are you familiar with the role of a mangaka's assistant?
More or less, but give me a refresher.
So in manga, obviously majority of manga is written and drawn by one person, the mangaka.
Mm-hmm.
But especially for the more successful series, the mangakas will hire like one, two, maybe even three assistants to help them with the manga on a weekly basis. And what the assistants do, they essentially help speed up the process of drawing and writing. And usually it will be an example would be with Toriyama. Like he had an assistant, and Toriyama would draw the pages, and the assistant will then ink the pages. So he will draw. So he will like draw. Not he'll not color, but he'll put like the black lines or black spaces where they needed to be on the page.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very time consuming thing because especially with manga, I think a manga chapter is like 18 pages. I want to say kind of similar to a comic, so that's 18 pages worth of art that they have to draw within a week. And
Gotcha.
so now, and in Western comics, as far as I knew, that wasn't a thing because it was literally a comic would have a writer, a the penciler, so the person who draws the initial art of the comic, and the inker, he's the one that actually puts in the ink on the page, so he kind of traces over the pencils. And then he traces over the pencils and provides shading, and the colorist, well, obviously the colorist and the editor. So in Western comics, I was always under the idea that it was like it was always a team of like at the very least five people working on an ongoing series.
Mm.
Sometimes it's less people depending if it's like a shorter comic or not. But what we learned was that according to the designer of the game they were speaking to, he was the type of artist who came in to essentially help either he was the type of flexible artist who can replicate art styles from other artists, or he will come in to do he'll come in to do other artwork that the main artist either didn't want to deal with or didn't have time to deal with. That being backgrounds, um, extra extra characters. It can literally be maybe fixing some art from the main artists themselves if it doesn't look right. So literally, it's a lot of it is just either finishing a page with all the stuff in the back or touch up. And those artists, that's similar to the mangaka's assistants, they are uncredited. Now they get paid and they do get work, but their names are not going to be credited on that cover for that comic or manga.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, so for us, that was surprising to learn because we did not know that that was a thing that Marvel and DC did. That at least in the West, that was something that they did. We always assumed that was more of a manga thing. So to hear that straight from, in a way, straight from the horse's mouth, just genuinely surprised us. And because of that, we were more invested to see. Okay, so this guy has tenure. He knows what he's talking about. So we're interested in trying the comic. The only disappointing thing was that he drew the cover of the comic, but he didn't drew the actual art of the inside of the book. So we were kind of disappointed, but we got the comic regardless because it was free anyways. And who knows? Janky looking game aside, it could be a fun read. So, uh, so that was the indie games. It ended up coming back to comics.
It always comes back to comics with this guy.
Exactly. Oh, Johnny has a comment. He says, "Oh yeah, that's a thing. I was talking to David Finch a while back, and he told me about it. All the image guys had many interns taking care of backgrounds and stuff like that." Huh, okay, as another confirmation, there. And all right, so that's enough. That's enough of that. Want to go ahead and move on to to Sunday, the final day of Evo.
Um, let's see. Pretty much. Although for anyone interested, this is just because I like card games. Apparently, there's a Guilty Gear Strive card game. Y'all should
Oh,
look into it.
that's right, Jack. I think you got a pack of essentially a booster pack for free, right?
No, it was a demo deck, or like pretty
Uh,
much where basically it's enough for two people, literally. Like
oh,
the
neat.
two characters you can play is either Soul or
Kai.
uh Kai. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. The Ryu and Ken of the game. That makes sense.
but it's a. I looked a little bit into it. It looks interesting, but hey, it was free.
So
And if anyone, I kind of wish to see. No, probably since it's a demo pack, they will all probably be the same. That would be awesome if it was randomized with different characters.
yeah, I would love to get a Potemkin deck.
Yeah, man. I would have wanted a Jacko deck. I wanted to see how that goes. If there's like tokens that you can push at the person or not. Also,
Uh,
I don't like the fact that I will never be able to escape a Potemkin because now it's in my card games. He's in my card games now.
uh, that also reminds me. One of the other most common cosplayers we saw there were a bunch of Mays and Bridgets.
Ah,
So
yes.
so make of that what you will. All right. All right. Now. Shall we go ahead for the final day?
Yep.
All right. So I'll go ahead and start this one since I Ghetto and I attended the finals earlier. Right as it was starting, and Jack came in a little bit later. Not a little bit. He came in later in the day.
Hmm.
So first off, uh, Jack Ghetto and I had to take an L on this one because we made the mistake of getting hype for a Marvel versus Capcom 3 final, and oh god, so Ghetto and I, we watched those finals, and of course we were hyped because Marvel 3 is Marvel, baby, all of that. And initially things uh were were pretty were pretty good, a lot of cool fights, but then the first mirror match happened, and I know one of the players was a player named Jabril who ended up winning the tournament, and I forget the other player's name, but I think he was like a newer contestant, or at least he was a newer per- person on the scene for the game,
Hmm.
and they had the same exact team. They had Dante, Virgil, and Zero. And here is the thing: uh, if the person has that team, they have one strategy, and that strategy is pretty much is to if they get the first hit, then they're going to then you're pretty much lost because they're gonna take you to the corner with Zero. Uh, launch you in the air, put you down, use Dante and Virgil's assist attacks, and then use Zero's second super move, is level 2, which what that does is that Zero gets like kind of an after image effect on his attacks, meaning that meaning that his attacks are doubled. So if he does a sword slash that hits 1, the sword slash is gonna hit 2. And so and all of his attacks are doubled. So once he activates that, he then keeps the opponent cornered and literally does a loop where he does like a diagonal slash towards the corner, trapping the opponent in the corner, does another attack, launches them, brings them down, summons Dante and Virgil to keep the combo going, does the diagonal slash, rinse and repeat until all 3 characters are done.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, the first time we saw that, it was like fine, whatever. You know what? It's still early in the tournament, and we were and the whole audience, not just Ghetto Knight, but the whole audience, we could tell who was the favorite. Everyone wanted to win, and it was where was he from? I don't think he was I don't think he was Brazilian, but I think he's from South America. Forget his player name, but his initials were KBR. He's well known within that Marvel community, and he had a team of Hulk, Mike Hagar, and Dormammu, which are pretty big, heavy characters, which you don't see a lot in Marvel. Because typically you want to get characters who are fast and nimble, and if they don't do a lot of damage, if they can, they have that strategy of death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So KBR, he had a team where you don't want to get hit, because especially with Hulk, with Hulk's attacks do crazy damage. He has armor. So that means that if you actually want to stun him, you have to hit him multiple times before Hulk can actually get properly stunned. Otherwise, he's tanking most normal attacks. And that makes for an interesting fight, because you got all these big guys. And with KBR, my God, he was playing like the most patient game of essentially of a close range characters against other characters who are just spamming projectiles from across the screen, and him inching his way forward just to get one hit in. And you could tell the entire audience was hype, and I was praying that please let him be the one in the finals, because as the tournament was going, we noticed that, oh no, that mirror match, if it goes the way you think it is, we're gonna have another mirror match of the same Zero Dante Virgil team again. And so you were all rooting for KBR. Unfortunately, even though he uses his characters really well and he played patiently and tried his best to get in, he was no match for, as Ghetto has dubbed, the Zero May Cry team. And the final ended up being a mirror match where it was a chase to see who can hit the character first, and just do that loop of a combo over and over until all the opponent's characters were gone.
Just
And
sad.
yeah, and pretty much everyone's, at least on Twitter, everyone was not happy with the Marvel 3 finals. Now, good for the player. He won, and I could tell it was an emotional moment for him. A lot of, it wasn't his first time competing in Evo, so he finally won. So I'm glad, he got to have that victory. It was just at the expense of an actually entertaining. It was at the expense of an actual entertaining tournament.
Man, I bet you all the players that have that same meta, when they're sleeping, their hands are doing the inputs.
Pretty much.
Like, because they probably can do that in their sleep with their eyes closed and just like let it happen.
Oh, and also during that final match of the Marvel 3 tournament, I went ahead because I knew what was gonna happen. I went ahead, just went to concession to get something to eat, and so I don't know what Ghetto was doing, and he just in the comment he started reading a novel during the final.
Really?
Yeah, both of us were so uninterested in that final match for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So that was a disappointing way to start the event. Let's see. Johnny says, "Shame that's the meta. It would be cute to switch Zero for Trish. It would have. It would have." Johnny also continues, "If the game has that kind of flaw, what you gonna do? Sucks, but meta gonna meta. That's true. That's why the new scene for Marvel 3 is now modded Marvel. That's where all the cool people are going to, at least according to Ghetto. So if you don't want normal Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, well, you can now play modded Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's where
Might
all
as
the
well play
cool cats
Mugen.
are. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. After that was the Tekken 7 finals, which luckily was a lot more hype than the Marvel ones, and it was near the end of those finals that Jack and his brother did arrive at the scene. So they made it just in time to witness the final two matches of the tournament.
Yeah. We were
So
there like literally once when Bob was beginning to be played
yeah,
with.
so that one wasn't as frustrating, but but it was still disappointing that the final two contestants was using the same characters. Which, by the
Yeah.
way, for those who didn't watch it, it was Kunimitsu, the ninja chick, the purple ninja chick. So it's Kunimitsu versus Kunimitsu, and I mean, it was fine, but it was definitely like a come on, we could have used other like
I
and
was
it's a
really
shame.
hoping for Bob to win.
Yeah, I was shoot a Bob. There was a whole bunch of other characters in those finals. There was a Bob player. There was a Geese. Johnny, we could have had Geese at the Tekken 7 finals, but for some reason, for the life of me, Ghetto, and I don't understand, the Geese Howard player barely used, if at all, any of Geese's actual mechanics. He didn't do any counters. He didn't try to build up his meter to use his other moves. We had no idea how in the heck that Geese player went up the ranks. What he did, because what he showed did not it did not show it didn't make sense, and it was disappointing that it had to be a Fatal Fury character that had to that got eliminated in the finals. Uh, other than other than that, though, for a majority of the Tekken 7 finals, it was still enjoyable. Uh, and even if they ended in a mirror match, at least it wasn't as egregious and as boring as the Marvel 3 matches. So at least I'll give it that. And I wasn't as familiar with Kunimitsu in her Tekken 7 gameplay. So at least on a visual perspective, it was at least interesting. But again, wish it wasn't another mirror match.
It was fun to look at.
Oh yeah,
Two of them darting
and
around.
yeah, and with Tekken, and since and when Ghetto and I got a chance to try out Tekken 8, I cannot wait for that game to be showcased or for that competition for that to start because that game has some serious mechanics that's either gonna make competitive players either really salty or just extremely happy that Tekken 8 does not play like Tekken 7.
I'm tempted to buy it just for Asusena.
Say, oh, that's right. That's right. Johnny, hold on, Johnny. You gotta give us your take on the new character announced for Tekken 8, Azucena. I don't know how you
Uh,
feel I don't know how you feel about Peruvians, but at the very least, I want to know your thoughts on the character because she was an instant. All right, I'm buying the game. That's a day
I
one purchase for me.
I know we were both making fun of the fact that Asuseta is a red flag because she made her personality coffee. Kind of like the equivalent of like how any girl on a dating app would be like, I love margaritas. I love Bloody Marys.
Well, you know what? At least it's an upper, not a downer.
And the thing is true. And and the one thing is that oh yeah, that I remember that's what he said. So Johnny says, "Well, basic Cammy's new basically Cammy's new clothes but with a tan."
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Hey, yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. But even then, the I really like the I'm a sucker for parries and feints. As you can see with DJ,
Oh, that's right. Her weaving, which gave me a little bit of Steve Fox vibes. So that was so apart from kind of her, her clothes are not that memorable, but her personality and the fighting style is what sold me. So I was like, okay, this is a character I'm willing to learn when I get the game. Hopefully, she's actually good to use, and maybe it's not as complicated as the trailer makes her out to be.
And the one thing I even like in my stream I kind of griped about, and it was like literally just a small nitpick, is the subtitles her Spanish.
Well, what are you gonna do?
It was like literally two. It's like the equivalent of how she would say two words and it says apparently a whole giant sentence. Is like "Quieres café?" which just says "Do
Do
you
you
want
want coffee?
coffee?" But the subtitles were "How do you like your coffee?" Like she said two words. She didn't say a sentence.
Oh,
Japan.
it's Japan. Yeah. Japan. Oh, and that's right. That's right. And I don't forget a very out of left field moment before the Tekken 7's tournament properly started. Uh, when Harada, the Tekken lead director, came in and he was about to start his the things he was announced for Tekken 7, and then all of a sudden. I don't know, literally out of nowhere, I see another person coming from behind the seat, from behind the curtain, and I saw, like, it's another Japanese man. I'm like, that can't be who I think it is, and it was freaking Yoshinori Ono, the former lead producer of the Street Fighter series. He came on stage, and in his best English, he looked at Harada and he said, that you don't forget your homework. And we're like, and we're like, what could he be talking about? I mean, it's cool we see Ono, but what is he talking about? And then Ono the dropped in. He goes, "Where Tekken Cross," and then Harada chased him off the stage before he got to finish saying Tekken Cross Street Fighter. Which, and of course, I like personally, I think it was just a fun bit. I don't think that's like some sort of clever way to say that the project's not is not still going, because we technically did get Tekken Cross Street Fighter. It's called Tekken 7.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a nice little joke for people in the know about those about all of that, all those rumors regarding, like, when is Tekken Cross Street Fighter still gonna happen? It's still gonna happen. Is the project canceled? Since technically the project is not canceled, it's just definitely delayed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was neat. I'm surprised not a lot of people try to make videos about it, trying to be like, oh, is this confirmation? It probably was just like a silly joke. Although I don't know why they're bringing Ono all the way to Las Vegas just for a silly joke, especially since he doesn't even work for Capcom anymore.
Hey, why not?
Like,
He's. I bet you he. Hopefully he got free tickets. He's just like, all right, sure, I wanted to go to Vegas.
yeah, you know what? He got to and just hang out with Harada. They're buddies. I'm sure
Playing
I'm
Tekken
sure.
7 in the backstage.
Nah, they do that. That's just work. Ghetto asks, which comes out first, Tekken Cross Street Fighter or Yonta
Oh my
Simulator?
god.
Oh, that's a question for the ages, isn't it? Uh, so shoot, Jack, I just realized how late it is. All right. So Tekken 7 tournament, overall was better than Marvel. Could have been more hype, but at the same time, Tekken 7's like been around for a decade. It's hard to get excited for 7 when 8 is on the horizon. So that's all bit for me. We did not watch the Guilty Gear Strive tournament, and Jack and his brother didn't either. So we just took that as an opportunity to go get something to eat, because I did not care. Gale didn't really care enough either, and apparently no one was happy in that tournament.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the the person who ended up winning Guilty Gear Strive was a Smash player.
Yeah, I did hear that. And then they were using Happy Chaos, right?
Yep. So you could just imagine the excitement in the air when that was announced. So, but we missed all that just due to lack of interest, and all that stuff we learned was after the fact. But we all then came together for Street Fighter 6, and even though we didn't have the most ideal seats, especially for me, since I couldn't even see the actual front stage, what we did witness, my gosh, I will never forget, Jack. Probably like the the most exciting the most exciting moment in that entire time that we were there. It was a blast with the audience, the live music, and the fact that I am so glad. Number one, not a not a jury or E Honda player made it to finals. I am so glad none of them made it to finals, and that there was only that everyone had their was a different character except for two Kens, and you know what? That's fine because Ken's a pretty versatile character. You can play him, you you can play him in your own way without it being the same thing. And Johnny, I am gonna diss the the feet queen like that because gotta open my eyes to something. The jury stinks. Not as a character, as in she literally stinks. Especially when I look at her that new outfit that she was given with the pajamas and all of that. I found the perfect fan art. I retweeted on Twitter/X, and it was perfect. It's just that drawing of Jury laying down in the dirtiest apartment looking floor you've ever seen, with mattresses on the floor, food everywhere, with a caption that just said, "Girl, you live like this?
Stinky.
Stinks. It stinks." And yes, that's Gail said it right. She's a pre-middle age girl. That's what Jury is. That's what Jury is. So lap it up. Any case, uh, Jack, just overall, give me your impressions and your thoughts on the Street Fighter Six finals.
It was a blast. Like of course, the crowd was very infectious with the reactions, to the point where my brother was also getting in on the reactions, and I very much enjoyed the fights. They didn't feel too one sided. There were always points where you're just like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Someone could have literally a pixel of health and somehow they pull it through. And it happens so consistently where, man, I was very satisfied. For being my first Evo, I was very satisfied. And I was like, this is and of course, the people playing, especially however you want to say it, Mena RD, he's a great showman, to be honest. He knows how to hype up a crowd.
Yes, and I the only disappointing thing is that I wish he won Evo, but his
Yeah,
opponent, Angry Bird, he put up a really good fight. So at the very least, it was a good bout. They won fair and square. There was no shenanigans, and I will have to, and you know what, give props to Angry Bird because he had to go against an opponent who knew how to use two characters really well. And Luke is pretty clear cut and dry. Blanca's the one you don't know what to expect.
yeah, and the fact that the funny thing with Menard or with Mena is the freaking phone thing. He just like it
Oh,
always
that's
happened.
right.
It always
In
happened
bet-
whenever he lost a match or lost a round. He would end up going on his phone and looking. At first, I thought he was like in some, like in a way, how some people would say stimming, trying to use the phone as a way to mentally reset himself. Some people were saying that he was actually getting coaching from the phone, which it's actually perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal as of 2017, I think, which also makes so much more sense. Because imagine if this man was watching TikToks in the middle of Evo.
Hey man, whatever's gonna help him win. But of course, it didn't. It helped him get through, but it didn't win. It probably was just coaching though. But still, though, it was funny to see him like if he loses a match, whip takes the phone out, starts looking through. It's a funny image to be sure.
Sometimes it was awkward sometimes because we would all be waiting for a while for him to stop looking at his phone, and the commentators, they're doing their best to kind of like fill the fill the silence. And I love the meme that someone put in, which is literally, you know how everyone knows Jury's victory pose at the end where she looks at her phone. They literally
Yeah.
slap Menno's face on Jury's. And for me, my own little meme that I put on for Hack's channel was basically me looking for the patch notes to make sure they didn't hot fix my Blanca.
So I saw that he put that on my server. Oh man. So yeah, and so overall, while there was a lot of uh mistakes done on both our ends and not clear communication, in spite of that, we had a very great time, and I could see myself going again. That being
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm not going next year. I'll probably do it again the year after.
Yeah, we gotta save money again.
Yeah,
Also,
but
side note, I
yeah.
was somewhat concerned whenever whenever they played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hack was excited. When they showed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a crossover, my man looked like he was possessed, and Ghetto was trying to pray the demons away from him. He was holding him for dear life.
Nah, I get it was because he was just as high, but I could see from your point of view.
I was behind everyone, and I just see hair waving, arms flailing, and of course, Ghetto was just like grabbing onto Hack's shoulder. To me, it looked like he was praying some demons away from you.
He was praying the turtle away. Nah, that was legitimately hype, and to hear the theme song, even hear the theme song, even if it's not the one I grew up with, it's still a dope theme song. And just and hearing the entire arena sing it, it was a magical moment. And of course, at first, it was so out of left field. Like, why are we hearing the Ninja Turtles theme in a Street Fighter tournament? I figured maybe it was just a random song, but of course, then the trailer showed up. We're like, okay, okay.
No,
And
Ghetto's right. It was the Holy Ghost. It wasn't demons. It was the Holy Ghost
it was
coming.
coming down onto me, being like, get hype, get hype, get hype. And I was properly hyped. I was hype as I can be when I saw that it is on. And if I was and I wasn't trying to save money right now, I would have already bought that DLC, even if it's a bit pricey, from what I understand.
I actually
Nevertheless,
looked it up, and it's 750 fight coins or whatever it's called. I looked at what's the most you can get. The biggest one is 2,000 something for $50, and to get all the turtles, it cost around 3,000 fight coins. So you would have to go over like $55 or $60.
yeah, like so. Yeah, I did. That was that's it is disappointing to hear at this, but but I'm not gonna lie. It's the turtles. It's the turtles for me, man. I can't. I'm showing off my bias. Should they charge that much? Probably not for what is essentially skins for your plate for your creative character. But it's the turtles, so I can't. I can't help it. Oh my gosh. Uh, any case, uh, I think that will be ended because after that, we went to our respective places of stay. Uh, in the next morning, but we couldn't do a proper goodbye that in a way that would have been like a good end to the festivities. I tried to see if we could set them up, but by the time I guess Ghetto and I were ready to leave our place, Jack and his brother were already just having their brunch before they head
Man, that
off.
was the thing too. We literally, it was literally all of us just forgetting to plan because I was in the middle of eating, and I'm like, oh wait, what time was your plane again? We could try to eat breakfast, like not breakfast, lunch, and then like do something. And like, my plane's at 2:50. Like, oh, and I
Yeah,
look down, and it's 11:30. Like, oh,
yeah, not enough time. At least not for all of us to find a place to eat. Although I would say I did at the end of the tournament I did make a good call to go to that Denny's because
hell yeah.
apparently uh we were the only Evo attendees at the Denny's.
I mean, hey, we ordered DoorDash, and it was significantly more cheaper, and it was Mexican food. We literally just DoorDashed burritos and quesadillas.
Hey, that's a smart way to do it. DoorDash your food or go to a place that I guess gamers don't like. That and gamers don't like Denny's.
Apparently.
At least in Las Vegas, they don't. But yeah, and that pretty much concludes our experience. It was a somewhat of a mixed bag, but it ended on a great high note. Just due to the fact that uh, mostly like in a way, Street Fighter 6 really did save the day. It really did, and I will still continue to play the game. I don't know if I'm gonna be serious and trying to be great at the game, but I'll still have fun playing it and look forward to trying out all the new characters that come out. Along with Tekken 8, Project L, I'll give Mortal Kombat 1 a chance. I tried to play that, Johnny, but that line was moved so slowly because I guess they didn't set up as many stations for people to try out Mortal Kombat 1 at the convention. So even after 15 minutes, I there wasn't enough significant. The line didn't move as quickly as I hoped, so I had to just bail out because I wasn't gonna waste so much time in line to play a game that I'm already kind of iffy about. And the very least for the smaller tournaments, I am glad they get to see the Goro tournament since there will be a second Goro game or at least or a new Fatal Fury game. So that was also hyped to see that new trailer live, and just overall was a good time. Luckily, all of us know what to expect and have a better end that if we're going to do this again, we now know what's going to be we we now know what will be the ideal way to plan this, and so our if this we so when or if that day comes, we're gonna go back to Evo. Uh, it's gonna be a much more smoother ride, and we may actually get to experience the actual Vegas part of Vegas.
I certainly did. With of course a very limited budget, so that way I make sure I don't lose much money. But I did lose
Exactly.
some money.
Well, we all lost something in Vegas, and we'll never get it back.
I lost my heart.
You lost your. I lost. So did mine when I didn't talk to that Manon cosplayer. Now I remember a moment. I think it was random comment Ghetto made. I couldn't tell if he was joking or he was sincere. But it stuck to my head because it's like something out of a movie. I think Ghetto and I were walking around Mandalay Bay. I think
Hmm.
trying to find our Uber ride, and Ghetto just randomly said, "You ever thought that you may be walking by the love of our lives. I just looked at him like,
God damn.
where did that come from? Jeez, man.
That's deep. Oh. Now he's making me wonder. Was that Cammy the love of my life? Was that Angel the love?
What what was that what maybe I should have flirted with that Bridget player and hope for the best that maybe it was a woman underneath that outfit.
You're going for the surprise.
That's what Gallo kept joking about. He goes, "Hey man, you got all these Bridget cosplayers. It's a 50-50 chance."
It's a loot box.
I would say though, what they saw consistently with a lot of Bridget players, or at least Bridget cosplayers, was that I never saw them with the group. They're always by themselves, which was
Oh,
concerning.
oh.
Yeah, which was like, oh, it is a little sad. It's like, oh come on, they didn't have any other people to hang out with or dress with, but
Well, maybe keep them
with
company.
you know what, if next year if I see a Bridget player by themselves, we'll keep them company. I ain't gonna shag with them, but I'll make sure they have a genuine friendship.
Damn, you even. I wasn't even insinuating that, but okay.
No, I have to put it out there because I got to cover all bases.
Yeah, true.
Got to cover all bases before Jack goes. Hey, Hack, I saw you going everywhere with that Bridget cosplayer. Something you want to tell me?
Like, I mean,
And
you do
then
you.
like, it's like, nah, it's not like that. It's not
You do
like that.
you. It's fine. You do you.
No, no, I don't roll that way. I
Walk
don't
so
roll
and
that
walk
way.
away and like.
Walk away in judgment. All right then. It is actually getting pretty late for me, so I should be heading heading to bed. Uh Jack, anything you want to announce quickly before the episode ends?
Uh, since with the Vegas trip, I don't have the money, and I did not have a chance to buy the Resident Evil 1 game. I kind of forgot. So, whenever I do recover my money, I'll buy it, and that will be for the celebratory 100 followers that I have on Twitch. Other than that, of course, later on, I think in 2 weeks, classes start again for college. I will be changing up my schedule again. That is because of college. I don't know what day. I kind of forgot what's my schedule. So I'll update that on my Discord channel for everyone to see. And that's it. What about you, Hack?
Oh, all right. Well, luckily with this vacate with this trip over, I it gives me more free time to, of course, focus on the Saint Seiya video, and I am going to try to see how I can fit my eventual live stream of Devil May Cry 3 because I do want to at least start and finish that game before the year ends. And so be on the lookout. So that's something to be excited for in terms of a live stream from me. And also, in that same time, I will also be going back to school. So, so now it's even more. So I have even less time to really work on a lot of things I would like to do. But hey, that's life. We gotta make those tough decisions in the present so we can have a better future. So,
By the way, everyone, do congratulate Hack for getting accepted again and going for his certificate. So
yeah,
I can't do the applause button anymore, but congrats.
thank you, thank you, thank you. It was not, it was not an easy decision to do because I really don't want to go back to school, but this is something that it's important to me and it's worth pursuing. So, and hey, hey, and I don't have to, and at the very least, I don't think I have to do math. I don't
I doubt
think.
it. It's a certificate. I think you'll just go through a certain course.
Yeah, yeah. Although I would now I have to do the history of American music appreciation class.
Yeah, man, it would be technically a fun class if the guy wasn't very monotoned,
Well, at least I feel confident of acing it, even though most of the bands I like are from Britain.
and also the fact that he just copies the test from the website, and all he does is like shuffle the answers a bit.
Well, like, well, can you blame him? He probably has tenure, so he can get away with that.
True, he does.
And get us to study hard and party a little harder. I will, and those parties will be when I eventually play Devil May Cry 3. All right. And that's really all that's really all I have to announce on my end. So let's go ahead and close this off, Jack.
All right, and thank you everyone so much for coming. This has been episode 160. 160. We're almost to 200.
40 more to go. 40 more to go.
Yep. And this is
Oh,
hack.
hold on. Johnny says, so about the simping dreams. It's a joke, Johnny. It's a silly joke. You really take my comments too seriously. Oh my gosh. But it's true though. Think about it. We how can you stop yourself from simping in your dreams? Think
Yeah,
about
you
it.
lucid dream. You gotta teach yourself to lucid dream.
You
Be the
gotta teach
Sigma male.
All right, let's close this up.
And this is Hack and Jack, the Sigma males, signing off.
Peace.